answer that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you made a mention of the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
If I asked you robust questions, that you wouldn't necessarily be able to answer all of that, but I can still understand why you may believe in it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
But I don't also for outsiders as well.
Bro, we was in the car, and the little boy took a picture, and bruv, the little 7-year-old nearly got arrested. Do you get me for taking?
You have to have some evil.
It's in the different forms of police.
It's different.
Community policing.
Hey, they're gonna rewind that clip, boy.
I don't believe they're evil.
Okay, so the hadith is the donkey says that he says to another donkey, from your lineage is gonna be a donkey that serves the prophet.
What's the meaning of life? Is it in the Bible? Is it about thriving or survival? Should I eat idle or hunt with a rifle? Is life a cycle or a spiral? Should I believe in Metatron or Archangel Michael? Shiva the Baghdad leader of Jesus and his disciples. Is deciphering the meaning even vital? Is there an afterlife or is death final? Is it about charity in the face of calamity? Is my purpose to find a wife and start a family?
That we spoke to, we asked them, what's the reason why they do these certain prayer movements? Why they do that? They're like, they don't know. They just do it. We spoke to one of the, I think it's a Shia Muslim brother. He was saying, he was breaking down the reason why people do this. Apparently, because people used to steal man's watches and be careful that you're holding on to.
Them Shia man are full of tails.
You know what I mean?
So left them man alone.
You're saying
you know how we feel about Shia,
them Shia, listen. I hate this, but when a Shia man says that a donkey narrated from a donkey's father, who narrated from a donkey's father. Bro, they've got hadiths where donkeys are narrated from, so don't tell me about Shia, bro. Not only is the donkey narrated. Imagine this, between the Prophet Muhammad, and Noah are several generations, possibly more than 100 generations between Noah and Muhammad. And man said, between 5 people, from my father, from his grandfather, from his grandfather, from his grandfather, donkeys, saying back to the donkey of Noah. The history don't even.
What do you mean the donkey? What do you mean?
Little donkey. Is this the Shia? Hold on.
So the hadith is the donkey says that he says to another donkey from your lineage is gonna be a donkey that serves the prophet.
Okay,
and that's supposed to be from the prophet Noah's time.
But having said that though, if Noah lived 700 years minimum and up to 1,000 years, then maybe donkeys had longer lives. It's not impossible.
They might have longer lives.
So Noah, everyone says he lived 700 years, right? Yeah. So who's to say how long a donkey lives? Because you got certain turtles that are 100 years now. Yeah.
The thing is, Gary wrote, there's a concept in Islam called bid'ah, which is innovation, right? So we stick to the practices of the Prophet.
So you're not trying to bring that new in.
So if someone else comes and does something and it's not affirmed to go back to the Prophet, then we reject that action.
Can I ask you a question? This morning I was watching a little bit of Speaker's Corner and I stumbled across these people that come down and they had 26 Qurans.
26
Qurans.
The Christians.
Jay Smith. Is that Jay Smith and them?
I don't know who these people are.
The other day, he was at the British Library.
Do you know what? Some of them are like some of them are different translations, but some of them are riwayat. But some of them Qurans, I need them. I'm after them. I don't know.
But what I'm saying is, they say different things.
Do people follow
I always believed that the Quran was a book to be respected because everyone was so adamant that it's nothing. You get 2 Qurans, they read exactly the same thing. For a man to turn around and say he had 26 Qurans, I didn't know whether he's chatting shit. I saw how the brothers were reacting. I'm thinking, but talk to me.
There's variant readings of Quran, but what man have to understand is they're all preserved. Then you go to the hadith and you see it. One that you will find in Morocco, they recite with a riwayah called Qalun, or in Libya they use Qalun. In Morocco they use Warsh,
Which is what, like a language?
They're all Arabic, but they're different variations of Arabic because there are different Arabic tribes. So in Hafs, which is what the majority of the Muslim world read, you hear in the Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Maliki Yawmiddin. you got an elongation of the alif, the A sound, Maliki Yawmiddin. Whereas the Moroccans recite Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Maliki Yawmiddin.
Just
quickly. They have different meanings, but they have different connotations, but both meanings are affirmed. Malik means king. It literally means like if you got a king of a country, that's Malik. That's what the Moroccans recite. Malik is an owner. So the Arabs say that every Malik is a Malik, but not every Malik is a Malik. So every king is an owner, but not every owner is a king. Right. Both meanings.
But it's important to establish.
But both of them are affirmed. Both meanings are affirmed, and they're not contrary to each other.
No, I hear that, but then obviously there's got to be more words and blah blah blah. I just feel with every holy book here, I don't get why we need to.
Let me give you.
Just show me this. They went to the British Museum. They showed me the 5 Qurans, innit? The books, different books. Yeah. You just show me the books. Yeah, they're there.
I'll read it after.
I don't trust the British Museum anyway.
It's an old school.
I'm not saying that it's fake.
Old manuscript.
But I don't
Most
trust.
can't even read that.
Right.
Because it's old script. It's old script. No one knows. It's not the languages, they're the scripts. No one knows how to read the script.
So who wrote these scripts then?
These were the companions that wrote the script.
So no one can read the companion scripts?
No one has a need for it. We've got the manuscript.
So then the new books we have, is it the script, same script?
Oh, sorry, bro.
No, is the Qurans that you have now, is it written in that script?
No, we don't have that script.
So then, if no one understands this script, then...
Listen, I'm saying no one reads it, as in none of the laymen read it. But there are scholars, like if I bring Mansour will be able to read it. But the majority of people would not be able to go, like for example, I
to the English Bible. When it's in Latin, they can't read the scripts. So the people that come to the congregation have to be taught by speaking English to them, but it's written in Latin. So that's the same thing with that. So only the imam that at that time could read it at that time, not the congregation.
Nah, not Islamically. With the church, that's how it is.
No, but I'm just saying Islamically it's the same thing.
It's not. Islamically, the people have always had access to the scripture.
To that one?
I say to you, no, we can't read it now. They couldn't. The reason why we can't. You know, script evolves, right?
Wait, let's go on nature, right? If someone can read something, no, I'm just listening. I'm just saying it in common sense. If I've got a book and I've written it, nobody can read it. I teach someone to able to read it. I pass it on. Why can't that be passed on?
It can be passed on. No one's saying it can't be
so
passed
why
on.
did it get
That's
passed
why we
on?
have people that we have people that can read it, but we're not stressing. Because I'm not stressing on the old script.
But it's the same. That's one that's happening. Do not that's dumb.
Chill. Listen. First off, first off, the Quran is an oral book anyway. It's oral, so it's oral. It's written in Arabic. It's oral. So listen. Traditionally, Quran is passed down via chain of narration, just like the Hadith is. It's not a written thing. So you have to understand that.
Can you speak the same Arabic that the companions?
Yeah, we read the Quran. That's when we read the Hadith.
The same Arabic.
The same Arabic.
The same.
Arabs now.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
Arabs.
Some Muslim scholars have told me that some of them can't read. They can't speak the same classical.
Arabs now. No.
Yeah.
Well, what's true is the same. It's not the same Arabic used today.
Listen. Don't get things.
That one back then is different from the one today.
James, don't get things.
So why is he saying yeah? You're saying no.
Listen, don't get things confused. Yeah.
No.
Let me explain and then criticize me after it. Yeah. When you go to the Arabian schools, they in the school they teach you standard Arabic, which you can use to go back to the Quran and understand it. When you go colloquially, like if I'm at work, I'm an accountant. I don't speak to man how I'm speaking to you now. I speak with man standard English, and on the street I'll say something. And I'll give you a practical example. In Syria, they say just tell you to stand up as a command. They say The standard way to say to tell someone to stand up in Arabic is qum, right? So they've changed it how they speak colloquially. When you go to Egypt, they say when they say abo, or even I think in Somalia they might say that. But the word is ab or abi when you're told about my father.
So just a term, basically.
Or abba. So it's Arabic in the community has degenerated to a point where uneducated people will speak colloquially but may not understand the Quranic Arabic. But people that are educated,
It's hard to understand it.
I wouldn't say
Ancient
but I'm a non-Arab.
It's hard to understand.
But it's not hard to understand.
It's not hard to understand.
Bilal,
You're not trained in it. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, bro. So, listen,
No, it's easy. It's actually really easy.
This brother saying.
Look, he said Arabic first.
He's saying it.
Listen. What you have to understand, number one, show me an Arab, linguist from the Ummah that's written books. That's actually Arab. All the Arab Nahwiyin, all the Arab linguists are outside. They're non-Arabs. They're from Persia. They're from Africa.
Yemen.
Yemenis are Arabs anyway. They're the original what we call Adnani Pakistani anyway. But Yemeni Arabic is pure as well. They've kept like Iraqi Arabic as well. A lot of it is quite close to the thing. But what I'm saying is, yes, some Arabs struggle with it, but that's because they're used to their local talk. Like certain Arabs will talk, and wallahi, I can't understand what a man says. But if I listen to a scholar speaking,
you can be educated, but still you're not like specialized in learning about ancient Arabic, let's say, because we don't use that language.
But the brother makes it. The brother makes it. Sorry, Paul. He makes it sound as if it's like some old Qadim, like Kemet language. It's not that. What it is when I say uneducated, I'm saying the way I'm saying is the local people. Like if I speak, when I speak to an alim, if I speak to a scholar, I'm going to use the same Arabic that I've got from the Quran. I'm not going to use the lahja or the colloquial talk that he uses. And a scholar will understand me because he's acquainted with the terms. But the people that are non-religious, they're not acquainted with the terms because they've gone away. They've introduced also, like there's actually in the Hansway, the dictionary I've got, there is a battle between linguists. One party of the linguists want to take Arabic back to the old school formulas and templates and whatever, and another school of them are battling to introduce.
If it will allow you to read the original Qurans, or
but the thing is,
I'm just saying it sounds like a good idea.
Okay, but when I look,
So what they suggesting?
he's saying
No, what they suggesting? The linguist.
About the linguist battling.
So some of the linguists are saying, let's go back to let's not use words like television and whatever.
Yeah, I
we have
agree,
Arabic
because the
formulas
language has the ability to do that. So
right, exactly. So we can formulate words that are Arabic, and that stay within that set rather than going away and adopting like Latin verbs and whatever, and then bringing them into the language and Arabicizing them, because that's what moves the language. Bringing in Persian letters. Like Arabic ain't got the letter P, but nowadays you'll find they put the letter P, which is a Persian letter in it. So it's not it's not like old school like that. And that's why I say when you approach us brothers, like me and Ahmed, we're close, but we differ in some things. So you can't say Ahmed says something.
He knows better.
I say go with my brother because
Academically, I would say go for him.
Bro,
go for what he's
He's being modest. He's being modest. He's being modest.
Yeah, you want the real talk?
That's the truth.
But you had a point. Oh, the scripts. What I'm trying to say about the scripts script evolves over time. Right. That script was used amongst the Arabs. There was a Khalifa by the name of Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, who was known to be a tyrant in his time, and he killed a lot of the companions, and he just killed a lot of people generally. And he was a Muslim. He should consolidate his power and not have it taken away from him. But he was someone who memorized the Quran.
Oh, okay.
He was, before he got put in a position of power, maybe power corrupted him. He was a Quran teacher first, memorized it, got put in a position of power, and then he became a bit peak for him. But he introduced harakat, which is the violation in the script. So the lines on the top, the lines on the bottom, the shadda, the tashdid.
In traditional Arabic, you don't write the vowels.
Yeah, you don't.
The Arab people knew it.
Makes it easier.
So it's like in English, if you remove all the vowels, your brain can still read the sentence.
Oh, mashallah.
Yes, Arabic's like that.
What he's saying is, you see this one, this is vowelized.
I can see the top.
This one doesn't have it.
Let me see if I can read that still.
But if you know the vocab, you'll be able to read that.
Same with Medha, That's crazy, bro.
That one's older, obviously, and that one's even
And I
more
think the
older.
diacritical marking is missing as well.
Even the dal and the dal, you wouldn't know.
So the language has evolved.
And the script,
I wouldn't even say evolved, though. I would say it's been modernized. When non-Arabs started coming into Islam, they started making mistakes in the language.
It's been made more accessible.
So it's not like man's reading the thing and we don't know. We just say, oh yeah, he's right, bro. The Quran has been memorized on such a level called mutawatir, on such a unanimous level, that it would be, I wouldn't say impossible.
It would have to be a conspiracy.
Yeah, like for someone to come and bring a verse and no one say to him, bro, that's like what you want. That's not been there. To the point, where even in the, like I said, there are different variations,
Yeah, don't go into that. Don't go into that.
I bring it up because you mentioned the 26 Qur'ans. I think 6 of them were like just the varying translations, like Pickle and Mohsen Khan, and that they were just the same script. But the difference is like stuff like one variation might read the word believers as mu'minun, the other one reads it as mu'minun, because.
But sometimes the words are different and the meaning's different.
Nah, sometimes. But then I say that both meanings never are. The meanings are contradictory. They're all. For me, wallahi, when I read, it only affirms my belief that Islam is the truth. When I read, for example, Surah Al-Baqarah, it says, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا ادْخُلُوا هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةَ فَكُلُوا مِنْ حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا رَغَدًا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمَا وَلَا تَقْرَبَا ولا تقرب الشجرة فتكون من الخاسرين. فتكون من الظالمين. What was it? Oh, the verse is in that chapter. It's نغفر لكم خطاياكم وادخلوا الباب سجدا وقولوا حطة نغفر لكم خطاياكم. So it says نغفر لكم. We will forgive you of your sins. The other riwayah, I think it might be one, so it says يغفر لكم خطيئاتكم. That your sins will be forgiven. So one is in the sense of Allah saying that I will forgive your sins. The other one is in what they call a passive tense. But both meanings are affirmed. يغفر لكم نغفر لكم. Both the same meaning, just different ways of saying it.
You really look like you're losing interest, you know.
No, I was listening. It's only because I was chatting to Kalas. I just had to come back and try and listen.
Do you know what? I was gonna bring my I've got Hafs and I was gonna bring my Warsh and I've got Khalaf and I've got Shu'bah. Those are 4 different variations of
different
Quran.
readings of the Quran.
Like this one was غير المغضوب عليهم.
Against
عليهم. But the meaning is exactly the same. Exactly the same. Both of them, hum and him, is reference to them.
In Ibn
You know they're not understanding any of this.
No.
You know, this is just.
But that's why these people. I don't think. Why do you bring it out? You don't understand what the variation is. You bring it out like it's 26 different Qur'ans. But the structures, the verses, everything is still the same. You might be explained.
No, the ayat numbers are different sometimes.
But it's not like we're hiding it. If you go on the internet, there's a brother from Ghana, Ukasha Khamenei. Every different prayer, even in one prayer, he recites with all the different styles.
Allahu Akbar.
There's actually a Quran with all 10 riwayat in it. There's actually a comparative one. There's one in Birmingham. I didn't get it because it's quite big.
I missed that one. Say that.
You can get one.
There's a mushaf with the 10 qira'at in it.
In one mushaf.
In Birmingham?
Yeah, in Birmingham. In Dar Mecca.
Oh yeah, I was there not that long ago.
Dar Taqwa, I think.
In Dar Mecca. The warehouse. You know. Yeah, in Birmingham,
easy to get.
Shu'bah got from the Khalaf. Some of them are harder to read than others. Like the tajweed of Khalaf is something else. So a lot of reciters. A lot of reciters they leave that one till last because it's got a lot of breathing techniques. But bro, it's Warsh. I like Warsh, but it is a. But Khalaf has a lot of rules of Warsh as well, and it's got pausing without tanaffus as well.
We definitely lost Gabs now.
Sorry,
He's gone, man. Bro, I started hearing him speaking in his language and my mind was taking it elsewhere.
What was the topic was the 26 Qurans, I think.
He was asking about the 26.
I think the first point was for me was ittiba' Rasul, following the messenger. His thing was if you follow the messenger on everything he done, and method and he picked his bum and that, would you pick your bum and not ask questions? That's the type of thing that. And I said to him,
who asked that?
No, I exaggerated. He said, if you see a man spitting left and right and that. And I'm still yet for them to reference what action that is. That's it. If I saw a man going, I think that's a mad thing. Like he's talking to some shit, I think it something on his neck. But I said, but anything else, yeah, if the messenger did it and the people followed him in doing it and he didn't correct them, then it's a correct action. Yeah, and anything that they've done that he didn't approve of, he
rectified.
Right, he rectified. He made incar.
Did he explain a lot of the kind of nuances of his character, what he was doing and stuff to people through the Quran? Did he explain a lot, or did he just say, or was it just?
No, he explained. There was one companion. Which companion was it? Asked every question, every time.
Ibn Omar.
Or if it where he did the action, and if he didn't rectify it, then you can do it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. No, not if the Prophet did an action. If you did an action and he didn't rectify it, then that action is fine.
Yeah. If I did action.
Yeah.
No, but you know what?
In front of the Prophet. Sorry.
No.
In front of the Prophet.
No, I mean, you know, like you see, most people they said they prayed because they followed the
Prophet did. Yeah.
So if he did an action and the people did an action and then he didn't rectify it, does that mean it's fine?
Okay.
That's
okay.
Okay.
Can't get bits of that. But if he was not supposed to do it, he would have turned around and rectified.
Is there a culture of actually trying to understand why he's doing certain things, or does that culture not really exist? You just kind of.
Is there a culture of trying to understand? No, there are certain nuances that scholars will derive from some of his actions. But as laymen, we're not equipped to deal with that. That's a place of standing we get to. But we're not. A lot of us are laymen. We're not scholars.
But you shouldn't always. I don't like when people say scholars. It makes you.
I know what you're saying. I'm trying to reach that. It's not. I'm not happy about it.
Remember, laymen. Because think about it. The reason why I don't say that, the reason why I don't the scholar thing, because when at the time of the Prophet, think about it, you had normal people that still understood, and they weren't scholars. That's what I'm saying. So they had to.
They weren't scholars amongst themselves. But after their time, they would have been revered as scholars.
Hold on. When we said about the head thing, you said you just do it.
No, I don't know about that head thing. That's why I said, like what?
But you do that, right?
What are you talking about in salah? In prayer, we say
in prayer
we say assalamu alaikum. If I saw a man saying assalamu alaikum rahmatullah and doing that, I think that's what you're supposed to do in salah. But it's a bit strange standing up doing it.
Okay, but whatever. The way that it's supposed to be done. What I'm querying is whether you, because it seemed like you actually said, I just do it and I don't question.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like a bit.
That's actually what you said.
Dedication in order to follow your Prophet. What I'm saying is though, obviously even now today this has been brought up. You must. I can't tell you what you must do. If it was me, I would. That would be the next thing I'm looking into, because I do it
That's what I'm looking into.
I do it 5 times a day. And you know what? I don't know why we do this. I don't know why we do that. I don't know why we do all the different stages. And I always assumed that man knew why that I just assumed that.
It is known.
Speaks about specific things. Why you do this.
It's knowable.
It's knowable, and people know it.
Do you know the reason
why?
Some of
it's to do with nature.
Manifestations
of structures in nature.
This is the reason why I shy away from things like this. This is the reason why I shy. Listen, this is
have you read the Quran? No, honestly, not about it. There's an incident where Ibrahim it says in the Quran that night overtook him, and then he looked towards the sky,
pondering the sun,
and then he looked at the stars, and he pondered at the stars, and he thought the magnificence of it. This may be my Lord. He said, "Hada Rabbi." And then when it set, he said, "This is not my Lord does not set." What happened thereafter? It was the moon, I think. The moon came out in its glory, and then he started doing the same thing. Hada Rabbi, this is my Lord. Deification of principles. This is what we heard before. And then what happened? That set as well. And he says, "I have made a mistake. I cannot do this again." 3rd time round happened. The sun came out, which was more magnificent as the previous one. In the end, he says, "Inni wajjahtu wajhiya lilladhi fatara sama." Verily, I turned my face towards Allah. No creation. He done the same thing that I was trying to have in the conversation, but the conversation went downhill. Abraham, he looked at nature, he thought about it. At one point he even deified it, but then he realized that these are creations and that I, as a servant of Allah, need to worship only Allah. So this concept that you have in Kemetism is also found in Islam, but Ibrahim came to the realization that Allah is the only thing, the Creator is the only thing to be worshipped.
But we don't worship the sun.
I know.
But we don't worship.
But when you say, when you
said he worshipped it.
no, you know when, no, Ibrahim.
But we don't worship him.
No, Ibrahim.
That's what I'm saying.
You know when you say
Why
die,
do you not
allow yourself to be called Kemetism?
you know,
That's how Wikipedia. That's how we keep saying it. What are you
I heard you say
comparing?
before, but what is it called?
We don't know. You have to. I don't know what to say. It's mad, and I keep saying Kemet. I keep saying Kemet versus Islam and Kemet versus, and I'm just like.
you know, this is
Who coined the term Islam?
Who coined it?
It's in the Quran.
It's in the Quran.
Yeah.
Religion is
In the Dina Indallah Islam. Verily,
So it's written. We call this religion Islam.
verily the only religion approvable in the sight of Allah is Islam.
And so,
You're right.
what does Islam mean?
Islam.
What other of all of the belief systems, what other deity coined their own religion? Usually it's afterwards, right, that the name comes about.
To be honest, I think it's better this way. That if we're in terms of, you know what I mean? I think it's better that it's actually cited in their book what the religion is called than other books that don't have a name for their religion but have named it after. Like for instance, Christianity. Christianity is not in the Bible. Do you understand? Like the term Christianity is not in the Bible.
I remember they say to be Christ-like, innit? That's what they say. Christ, but Christ is in there, innit?
They're not called Christ-like. They're called Christians. You know what I mean? Which is a terminology. I actually used to think that Islam wasn't. So the Prophet Muhammad is the one that coined that phrase. Because that's his writing.
It's in the Quran.
It's in the Quran, and the Quran is his words.
No, the Quran is Allah's words given to the Prophet through Gabriel.
Did Muhammad tell people to put it in the Quran? Yeah?
Who was talking to me about middlemen and they don't deal in middlemen?
I'm confused. Because he didn't write it, obviously.
No, he was
But he told somebody to write it.
People decided to write it down for themselves.
In the Quran?
The Quran was all learned off memory.
Let me explain.
Everyone knew it all off, word by word, with no.
The Quran is
It's the longest running Chinese business.
I know it's 23 years, bro. Yeah, but didn't he so he checked.
He didn't even ask no one to write it.
Yeah,
He did have scribes. He did have scribes. What happened was the Quran
means continuous recital. So the Quran is not a written document, it's a spoken thing.
So when did he tell people to write?
He didn't tell anyone to write. As the revelation was coming down
Did he employ the scribes that you're talking about?
He had scribes. Yes.
That followed him, or he employed them?
What happened? The main mode of preservation of the Quran, Allah says in the Quran to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do not move your tongue in haste, for it's verily upon us to compose the Quran or collect it. So what happened was that...
Meaning don't talk fast.
No, the Prophet Muhammad, when revelation used to come to... Is it overcomplicated?
Yes. Simplify.
Basically, memorization was the way that everyone used to keep the Quran. After the Prophet Muhammad...
No, that's too far. We're talking about he's alive, right?
Yeah. Let me explain.
And it's being penned, right?
Yeah. There are times where it's being penned.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm saying it's being penned, he's there. I'm speaking about this Islam thing, right?
Yeah.
So
what about the name of the religion? Where it came from?
No. So someone wrote. It's Arabic, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Someone wrote this word. Did he tell them to write?
No, this is what happened. So the Quran was revealed over 23 years in dribs and drabs. So in certain situations, maybe one verse would come down, or 2 verses would come down, or 10 verses would come down. That's how and that continued to happen for 23 years. So when the Quran came down, the Prophet would tell his companions, oh, this new verse just came down, this is what it said. Some of those companions who could write...
Come down from God.
Yeah.
To him.
I have another question.
Via Gabriel.
So come from God to Gabriel, from
Gabriel to Muhammad. And then Muhammad would say...
Why did God not talk directly
to...
you
know that. Yeah, this is what we
to the Prophet. Because in our tradition, Gabriel is always the angel that carries the revelation from God to the Prophet.
In other people's traditions as well.
Did Moses talk directly to God?
Yeah, we believe he did.
But so why did God?
Moses talk directly to God.
Moses talked to God, but Muhammad didn't. Or did he ever?
We're talking about Did Abraham talk to God?
I have no knowledge of that.
Yeah, he did when he was asked to sacrifice his child.
It's just showing that.
Did Muhammad never talk to God
the
directly?
Prophet asked Zayd to write the Quran.
Oh, okay.
In his
Always
time.
Gabriel.
All right.
He's saying with ink.
All right. So he's saying here.
When the verses of
Chapter
jihad
three as
came
well.
down, the Prophet called upon Zayd
Yeah.
to write down
Okay,
the
so
Quran.
according to this book, Zayd ibn Thabit.
What book is this?
This is a
This
book
is Sheikh
called the
Muhammad
Quranic
Yusuf
text.
Only one. This is the Quran.
No, this is not the Quran. This is a book about the Quran.
No. We need the Quran. We need the Quran.
What is he talking about? What's he talking about?
What's your question?
My question is this. I don't have a question. I'm just kind of bouncing off you guys. Pause. What I'm saying is. That's for my brethren. My brethren will watch it and be like, I got you. So, but what I was gonna say is, okay, the Prophet Muhammad, I'm gonna say peace be upon him, because if I don't say it, I feel like you're like, say it. You're looking at me like, no disrespect here. The Prophet Muhammad, he is, he's never spoken to God directly in terms of what you know in the text. According to your Quran, he's never spoken directly to God, but Abraham has, and
That's a complex question.
and Moses has.
That's a complex question.
I know about that. A couple of people have had some convos with
There's been many prophets.
and a woman. And so why do you think that was?
What's that?
That Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, never spoke directly to Allah.
It's said to heaven.
What's it-
We
what
say
it-
that.
Listen, it's the final one.
Yeah,
We say
the
that
final
the
message.
Prophet Muhammad did speak. We did say he did.
Oh, he
speak.
did.
We
Oh,
say
sorry,
he
my
did
bad.
speak. But there were means of revelation where the Prophet Muhammad was given the revelation.
When did
through-
he speak
through
directly?
angel Jibril?
When did he speak directly to
When he
Allah?
ascended to the heavens, it said that the night journey.
At the end, basically.
It's in the Quran. It says
At
that
the
we
end.
call our
the end.
servant from the furthest masjid, and then he was ascended into heavens where he met many of the prophets of old.
When he died.
No.
No, this was in his lifetime.
In his lifetime,
He went to
ascended-
heaven and came back.
This is called the heavenly journey. This is called the heavenly journey.
The night
The
journey.
heavenly journey.
And when he came back, he told his friends
Yes.
about it.
Yeah, the Mi'raj. Yeah.
Not his friends, but he told his
companions.
people about it.
Friends.
Yeah.
His brethrens.
His brethren, yeah.
Codies.
Some accounts say that.
So they say.
In the Quran,
So it says he spoke to God in that time.
Yeah, in that what did he call it? Mirage. In the Mirage,
Yeah, especially in the Quran.
he spoke to Allah.
Yes.
It says that he spoke to Allah, or he just.
Yes, if I'm correct on the account, and I don't know this offhand, that there's a veil
Because you
between
just
him
spoken
and
about all these
Allah.
things, like what he saw.
Allah's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moses got Muhammad to change Allah's mind.
Up there.
No, that's not true.
No, put it in context. Don't try to put it in context. Put it in context.
No signs behind me, you know, today. No signs behind me, man.
But in context, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Muhammad, peace be upon him, 50 salahs to do. And then, he came
Spoke to him directly to him. Let's stick on that.
Allah doesn't speak to nobody directly.
He spoke to
Except for
Moses
Gabriel.
directly.
No.
Why not?
No.
When you talk about
Never
the
spoken to
burning
nobody.
bush, yeah?
Nobody's
Who
spoken.
spoke?
Let me tell you about the
He said
burning bush.
Allah, not
Let me tell
Christianity.
Let me tell
Allah
you.
didn't speak to Moses.
Let me tell you about the burning bush. Moses didn't speak to God.
He didn't speak to no.
What bush?
We're talking about the burning
No,
bush.
but what bush now? They say
Oh, bro, don't bring back to weed, bro.
and you hear voices.
This
What
one
bush?
here.
You burn and you hear voices.
Golden
So when
Virginia,
Moses
mate.
heard the burning bush, cause anyone who blazes ganja, even the Muslims
I don't
used
hear
to blaze
voices,
ganja.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, are you listening? Anytime you smoke the spliff, you're only gonna get righteousness. Like you're only gonna get say if you and your brother was arguing.
You know what?
and you blaze the thing,
I've probably never spoken pure weed before, so I cannot even lie. Everything I smoke has probably been a crossbreed, a hybrid, rare,
even then,
original marijuana or whatever. I believe probably has other properties that we don't have access to. So
in yard.
Yeah, but cool. But did Moses
أفضل
speak to
الشيء
Allah?
أن نخرج من هذه ال.
No.
Yeah, go on.
No, you never. I can't get it from you because you're not a
told you the
Muslim.
burning
I know you're a scholar. I know you're a scholar, but I have to ask a Muslim.
Yeah, well, how do you this is something I find peculiar. Do you class yourself as a scholar as well?
He's a scholar, man.
He said a scholar.
We're calling him, but he's calling him a
No,
scholar.
he told me he was a scholar.
But then he studies. He's been studying for a long time, you know.
In what?
Scholar is somebody who went to school.
Freemasonry,
He's a
man.
scholar.
Yeah, but
In Freemasonry, you learn
No,
everything.
but he's a scholar. How
Tell
can
him,
you
tell
say he's
him,
not a
yeah.
scholar?
I don't know. Then I would say you're blowing the bar. Me personally,
Yeah.
I would say
For
you're
the
lowering
show,
the
yeah.
bar.
A scholar for what though? Scholar for
Then
what?
you can any one of us can
A
be
scholar of
scholar.
what? Hold on, a scholar
That's
of
what
what?
I'm saying.
Let's just have it out.
No, we're saying
Let's get back to
one conversation. One conversation at a time. Let's go. Order.
See that? That's the Freemasonic sign of the puppet master. See that? No, but seriously, I think there were some good questions there. Hamza, where you going? Yalla, Hamza, yalla. You don't want to be associated with the soldier of Shaitan. I know.
It's not the conversation is a swing. While he's here, can we make something clear though? There were two things in the discussion that I had with the Kemet brothers, that I wanted to make clear.
You need to start calling people Kemet brothers.
Why?
I have no idea what that means.
Okay, but the thing is, you know what I'm referring to.
I don't.
Okay,
I'm not going to allow myself to.
Let me understand. You know,
go on, just go on. We're going to go somewhere else.
You know, language, the purpose of language is to put names on things so we can direct our attention towards it. That's the only reason I do it for.
Right, go ahead.
You know, there's certain things, for example, you say deification of principles does not make it a god. This is where I say that the language needs edifying. When we say deification, it usually has a connotation, you're making it into a deity which is synonymous with God. Yes? Do you agree? So I agree, I may agree.
Yeah, but not necessarily the ultimate God though.
I may accept that you don't actually believe parts of nature is God. But when you say deifying nature, that's what the implication of the language is. I think we need to say
that's
something.
That's what Mother Nature is.
That's something
that's
we need
turning her into it. That's what Gaia is.
Perhaps we need to say metaphorical personification. Not deifying. Deifying is to make something God.
Another one, Muhammad divine.
Actually makes sense.
Listen, hold on. You see the gods of yesteryear, should we say, right? Did they think that those gods were the ones that made everything, or were they attributed to specific things? Because you're talking about Allah, the creator, and these guys were talking about something else.
You know, when they say deifying principles, this is what was said before. When you say deifying, that means you're making it into a deity. Deity is synonymous with God. That means you're making it into God. Or if you ask you listen. If I ask him, is nature a God? He will say no. So what I'm saying is the wrong language. It needs edifying. That is better to say personifying nature, not deifying.
Can I ask you a question?
Another one. 1 second.
So you think he personifies nature?
Wait, when you say Ra, when you say Amon, these are personalities, right?
Yeah. I think that's deity. I think they clearly were deities. And worship. I believe so. That's a form of God, not meaning the ultimate God.
Okay.
Yeah. Because for me, deity is the same as entity.
What is a deity? What is a deity?
It is. It is a godlike a godlike being. Yeah.
What is the definition of a deity?
God.
A spirit. I think a spiritual consciousness. Yeah. The actual word.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Was the Prophet Muhammad divine? In your
for example, no offense, but the thing is, if we go down that route, we lose this route.
Especially that
even
divinity, the state or rank of a god, personal thing, reverse or god or goddess.
Yeah, see, but you see, look, small G. Do you understand? Small G for God and goddess. So like what I said, didn't it?
I said it's synonymous with God. This is what I said.
God, but
feminine principles.
They're not, and then there's supreme being on the number 2.
Yeah.
So
when you say deifying principles, I think the word needs a better, like you say, personification.
No, the reason I'm saying that is because listen. Please, let me just say something. What the things that Egypt represented was divine principles.
Yes.
Yeah. So what we're saying is, if the Prophet Muhammad was divine, yeah.
What do you mean by defining?
Divine principles.
When you say Prophet Muhammad was divine,
was he divine?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
The word divine, which is synonymous with godly, and the word godly means highly religious and pious.
This is what I'm saying. They need to edify their language.
No, but listen. The word divine. Let me say one thing, brother. The word divine, means the word divine is synonymous with the word godly, and the word godly. No, but are you listening? The word godly, it is synonymous, with highly religious and pious. So by that definition, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was godly, and that means he was divine from a Muslim perspective. So I'm saying, him seeing the same thing.
To that definition.
Huh?
Okay,
that's dictionary.
Yeah,
that's
not your
dictionary. That's not my definition.
You know what is better to do? To let the person
They say godly
of godly.
No,
To be godly means to be religious, which doesn't make sense. Do you understand?
That's what the dictionary says.
Yeah. But then that dictionary we just looked at chats a lot of shit as well. You understand? The main thing that you was talking about, which I found interesting, was whether Muhammad has spoken to Allah directly before. That I think that is the best topic. Is there no? What's the sound? What's the?
Yeah, this is what I spoke to him about.
When he went and he spoke to God directly.
He went no. Did you? No problem. Was you not gonna read that from somewhere? That he. Show me where it says that he's.
Some clarification.
Show me. Your prophet speaks Bible in your bag, right? It's always Quran.
I gave it to someone else. I don't want to buy this Bible on my back. The Bandits Bible. Get it right.
Bad news for kids.
But it could have been a dream. Couldn't it have been a dream?
Yeah, it could be in a dream.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You received revelation.
There's difference of opinion on
But
that.
even
receives revelation by dreams or visions.
That was the one.
No, that's
it.
not true.
So did he receive revelation? Yes. Did Muhammad receive revelation during that? Vision? What revelation did he receive? Dreams or visions?
No. If he's saying it's Islam, no. If he's saying Islam,
but these guys are saying that it's debatable.
Maybe he's trying to Sufism, maybe that's what he meant. But in Islam, there's been, he said Angel Jibril come in the form of a man at times.
Did he speak to God?
Angel Jibril came to Muhammad physically.
So you don't think it was a dream?
So it's not just dreams.
There's a difference of opinion.
He went to the Sirat, he spoke directly to Allah, right? He went to heaven, to high seven.
Are you agreeing with your brother over there?
What did the book say?
He said there's a difference of agreement and difference of opinion about whether he actually went to heaven or not. That's a big deal.
Everyone agrees that he went. There's a discussion as to whether he went in a dream state or whether he went physically.
That's an important point.
No. I would say that doesn't matter, because if you think spiritually he went to an actual different dimension or different realm or whatever, it's the same. Whether it's a dream, whether it's a waking state, I didn't expect for him physically to have been transported to in distance. I don't believe that's how it works anyway.
Explain why it's important to you.
Why it's important to me to know whether Muhammad spoke directly to Allah is very important, because it seems like there's accounts of others that have spoken directly to Allah, and him being the final prophet with the final message. That we were speaking with some brothers and man was talking about not wanting a middleman. Yeah, when I was talking to some Muslim brothers, they were saying, why would I deal with a middleman? Yeah,
Muhammad is the second middleman.
Yeah,
not even the first middleman.
Yeah, because the first one is actually Gabriel. Gabriel's getting more.
So they claim.
Gabriel is directly speaking, to Allah, where Prophet Muhammad is not. Noah, you said he didn't, or he
Gabriel everywhere.
Noah did Noah speak?
To bring the material with me. The thing is, Jeddah, I'm scared of saying something.
Okay, can we go on opinions and we not hold you on that?
If you don't,
I won't hold you. I promise.
He negotiated with Allah about the salah.
Yeah, about salah with Musa. This is what we said.
There was a lot of salah, and then he kept asking for to be less, until he got to 5 salah.
Some of the opinions.
He got to change Allah's mind.
Look, it's a scholarly discussion. It's a scholarly discussion. Some say it was a dream. Some say it was actually physical body, and they say this discussion as to why they believe it was a physical one. I personally, from the narration, believe it was a physical one. Now, the Prophet Muhammad, he ascended through each level of the heavens, and had met a prophet in each level until he gets to the stage where Musa and him meet, and it was commanded upon him that he should do 50 prayers, or for his ummah to be praying 50 times a day. And then Musa said, look, I was heading Banu Israel, the children of Israel. They could not do it. It's better, from my experience, for me to advise you to go back and say, and he says to Allah. You understand? No middleman. And reduce this number. And this happened a few times. So the scholarly discussion...
Allah that decided it was 50 times?
Yes. Of course.
So, do you... Okay, and let me... Because you know what, I had the other day, we were talking about, and someone said, talking about creation, 7 days, said, oh, Allah wouldn't need to rest on the 7th day, because they put a personification. It took a day off or whatever. But the point that was being
in the Hebrew. It doesn't say that in the Hebrew.
Made to me by the brothers was
why would all-powerful God, Almighty God, need to rest? Same reason. Okay, but that's the point that he was making to me, is that he wouldn't need to rest. Yeah, because he's all-powerful. Same way a man that would all-powerful being wouldn't need to rest, an all-powerful being wouldn't need to change his mind.
No, it's for the same thing. For example,
you understand?
With the creation of Adam, he wanted us to be on this earth, right? That's the same thing. God, he wanted it to be in that situation, to happen like that. The story,
Lucille, that's Lucifer.
Because,
you know that, innit?
You know, God could have just put us on the earth.
That's Lucifer right there.
No, I want to ask you, you know, God could have just put us on the earth, right?
What? Sorry?
God could have put us on the earth without having the tree and obviously picking the fruit. He wanted it to happen in that situation like that. No, I do hear exactly what he's saying. Don't say I'm not hearing what I'm hearing. Okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah, you're the fruit, picking the fruit. Yeah, God made it seem like that. That story, he wanted it to happen like that. You could have just put him on the earth, right? I said that's it.
That's true.
So I hear that.
So
okay, but so you're saying that God intentionally said 50 times, knowing that they're gonna come back to him and say 5 times. Why?
You know why? Because when you ask him Allah gives to you. Allah showing you. You know what? Allah is showing that whenever you ask him, he's gonna give to you. That's what he's showing.
You know, some people.
And he wanted it to happen like that.
Okay, but then I do think that the person that you were describing, the being, the deity that you are describing, has got a little bit more time on his hands than I don't even know how to explain it. No, okay. Let me put it a different way, so I don't offend. I find it hard to understand why such a supreme being, and maybe I'm not supposed to understand because we came to this lesson today. Yes. Because I don't see what was gained from that.
Without the apple, I'm picking the apple.
That's different. That's free choice. That's different. That's free choice. That's free will. What's the wisdom of 5 prayers?
Listen, all this delving into you don't know the wisdom. That's the thing. We don't know. You know, you're asking good questions. Yeah, you're asking good questions. Many people don't know. They guess. You know, like the letter Nun. Someone's talking about what does this mean. This is just guessing. It's all guesswork. So you know when you're forcing people, as in what does it mean? What does it mean? It's like sometimes you're forcing an answer out there and it may not be true. So when someone says, now someone says why 5 times is symbolic.
But is that not the nature of the debate? I've seen you do it to people. I've seen you draw people on their knowledge, and when they fail, you say, well, boom, there we have it.
Give me an example. I
can't, my brother. But if you ask somebody,
for example, when I clarified,
but then remember, it depends what you want from the discussion, innit? Are you looking for growth, or are you looking to win an argument?
Personally, I'm looking for a deeper understanding of what you believe. That's it. And I can chat to you. 2 brothers here. I highly respect you lot. I know you lot heard it a lot before because the way you carry yourselves. Yeah. So for me, I can chat to you. Yeah. He makes me laugh. I can chat to him, but he's got his own way of being. But I can still chat to him on his own. I think that's the most important thing for me to understand.
You know, there's some concepts we don't have answers to, or we don't have robust answers. I'll give you an example. You said a statement, and forgive me if about the Earth. Do you remember? Can I mention that? Can I mention that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, you made a mention of the Earth is flat. If I asked you robust questions that you wouldn't necessarily be able to answer all of that, but I can still understand why you may believe in it.
Do you understand? But I don't wage my soul on it.
100%.
You understand? I don't wage my soul on it.
What do you wage your soul?
So let's get a good topic to talk about. Let's get a good topic.
Should we talk about if the Earth's flat?
No. It's a good subject, but no, I would rather we was having a conversation before. I'd like to know what you lot's take on it is. Respect, I know many Muslims are. Have you got light?
No, you fall off on the spot.
No, that's something else.
Come on, my G.
Isn't there a barrier when you get to the end?
The firmament.
Is there a barrier or is it like a fall? Or you fall off there?
Alright.
Or do you want to move over there?
What's the good topic? Let's get a good topic. You going off light?
You want it to be on religion? You want it to be on religion?
Anything.
Okay, because what we were discussing before is
let's move over there.
No. What we were discussing before, because you don't want to talk about hocus pocus. I don't want to talk about that. Let's talk about some real shit.
Come in more in the middle.
Brutal. What I want to know. Let's get it. And I asked this earlier, but we didn't get it on camera. Can we, as people, where's my man Hamza? I need him because I want to have an intelligent Islamic point of view. What do you think? Can we survive without police? Do you need police?
No. Eventually, we have to make our own police. Even if the police disappear, eventually society needs police. Somebody has to maintain law and order.
So we need law and order to. So someone has to be police.
I think so. There has to be in every society. There has to be somebody.
Please, my brother, we need you.
Police our own.
The police need to be
We also
armed.
need to police the police.
Do the police need to be
What
armed?
is your definition of police?
Police our own communities, and we need
What
to
is the
police
definition
the
of
police.
police first?
My idea of police is what we all see today as police as being a group of people that come to enforce their law that serves their system, officers of their peace, and they enforce it on our communities.
Like these people here.
Yeah? Go back to
Come closer.
Exposed.
Square and compasses.
It's not exposed.
Square and compasses.
Freemasonry.
I bet Jedi has a lot to say about that.
What you say? He joined the fraternity.
Property.
Listen, square
10 years.
We run the city like big businesses, not oligopoly.
But yeah, 10 years deep. Oh shit!
Where you at?
No, but seriously, that's what I wanted to, because this is something that we can all have an opinion on.
Right.
You know what? Do we need law enforcement to what's the word? To protect and serve us, or whatever.
Yes, we do.
No, it depends.
It's an open discussion.
They don't protect and serve us.
I think it should be different police for
This is what happens, yeah? I have never been protected and served by the police. The police killed a black brother yesterday. Just the other day, they strangled him to death. Yeah?
In Dalston.
R.I.P. Rapash. Yeah? They killed him the same way they killed Eric Garner in America. Yeah? 2 weeks before that, 3 weeks before that, they killed Edson. You understand? Same sort of situation. You understand? We had Mark Duggan, we had Smiley Culture, we've had Sarah Green. We've had so many deaths in police custody, and not one police officer has been prosecuted. They're not here to serve our interests. So we, as a people, need to not only police the police. You understand? But it takes a community to raise a child. So the reason why our children are killing each other is because there's no community out there to guide the youth. Like it's like we're scared of our own.
Community policing.
So why are they only
agree with
killing
that.
us? Huh? Why are they only killing us?
Because remember the first police.
Nah, that's not true, man. Content.
Yeah.
The reason why they're killing us because we don't have an invested interest.
100%.
That's the reason why.
And if you look at the actual history of police, we
No,
know that
it's not
police,
racism.
the original police, the original police were there to do what?
Serve the
Protect
king.
property.
There you go.
Property. And who used to be the property?
The slaves.
So when you used to run away as a black slave, they had an illness that they called you. They called you in. They had an illness. What was it called again? Does anyone know the illness that they called you? The illness when you ran away as a slave. They made up an illness.
The Bible says
Don't you think?
half of knowledge is to say that you do not know.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
You know, some of these questions are difficult.
This is just now about your personal opinion.
Take care, man. Take care, man.
You get me? This is about your personal opinion. This is what I want to hear.
I don't put personal opinion.
No, okay. This is not non-religious, or maybe it is. It depends on what you believe about it. But what I'm saying is, it gives you a chance to talk on a subject that is not necessarily about having to defend or explain Islam. You know, this is just about you as somebody that lives in England or in the world. What is your view on whether we need or we don't need the police force?
Oh, we saw what happened with the youth riots, right? Even though they were there, still people were rioting and breaking. I think we need them. You may dislike them, and I understand in Stratford recently I saw this guy here in the protest saying about the police. There was a killing that happened in Stratford, so I understand this. And
Who needs them? Who needs them?
We as society, if there's none of us here, let's force it. My point of view is that even if they're evil, it's a necessity. Like we have to have some evil.
Isn't there different forms of policing?
It's different.
Community policing.
Hey, they're gonna rewind that clip, boy.
I don't believe they're evil. I don't believe they're evil. But I'm saying for the persons who feel.
The first question is, whose interest do they serve?
They serve the community.
No, they do not serve the community. Because black people
invested in their own community.
All right. You understand?
Black people don't have enough businesses.
You understand?
And if we did have enough businesses, they'll be here to protect and serve us.
I don't believe that. I believe that they're racist.
Policing ourselves.
100%.
So you believe in the Okay, let me ask you a question, yeah? Hamza.
I agree with what Callum said.
If police, if you believe that we need police to keep a certain form of security, so what we have to understand is there's levels of policing, right? Yeah. So if we go from the police force, what's the next? What's the next stage up?
Up or down?
Up or down? Army. Okay. So you believe we need the military?
Yes, to a degree, yes. Any nation, sovereign nation, generally has one because they need one.
Okay. We move forward. We move up. What's after the army? What we got?
Okay.
What have we got?
Continental.
This is where you need Titans TV.
No. Continental. What have we got? What have we got?
The UN.
Yeah, UN.
So you believe that we need the UN?
No, I haven't gone to that. I don't know.
So it should stop at the armies.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
And after
do we need an international community to?
The question about armies is armies should not be having nuclear bombs that can blow up half the planet.
Yes.
Armies should not be militarizing in order to invade other countries and other lands. Armies should only be to protect the land of the people that they live in. You understand? So the British Army should only be there to protect British people. The army should not be allowed to go to other countries and invade and bomb.
What are you going to say then? We have nuclear weapons.
The aliens, I'll get along with the aliens more than these people because these people are more alien to me because they're alien to humanity.
I don't know about that.
So which people are you talking about?
So which people are you talking about?
I wanted to find out what your views on were on policing, and I think I found your views.
Can I add something? You know, I'm in Saudi Arabia at the moment, and in the Middle East.
You're there now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. As you know,
you know, holograms are sick.
And you know what happened? There's hardly any policing. There's hardly any. And part of it is because they have Islam. They do many bad things, the people. But part of it is they won't necessarily steal or cheat or because of morality more over than policing. But in this country, in this
poverty as well in Saudi Arabia.
there is poverty in Saudi, like any.
So they don't steal.
No, with Saudi it's slightly different because reason being, even then they don't steal. One, because the punishment is harsh. It works as a it works as a deterrent.
Short sleeve or long sleeve?
That's police, right?
No, there is, but it's different from what we see here, where there's a police on every block, and we don't do criminal activities because of their presence. Whereas there, they don't do criminal activities because of a moral kind of.
So then why do you not think we can do that here?
I can back that in Gambia. Because when I went Gambia, let me tell you something, yeah? I banned police my whole life. I burned them red, yeah? Because police, I just see them terrorizing my people, stopping and searching them without based upon prejudice. But when I went to Gambia, I sit down in police stations. I drink green tea with policemen for the first time in my life. In Gambia, I'll be sitting down with the army man them. The army man them. You understand? So what I realized is what I realized is because of the morality of the Gambian police, when they see man, they treat man like a brother. It's so much love, fam. It's so much love.
Is that what the difference is then?
Yeah.
Is that what the difference is? The police force don't come from us.
They don't. No. It's not just that. It's not just that. They don't identify. They don't identify with certain communities because the white boys. I got white veterans, yeah. And when they see feds, they're like, "All right, mate, fight a lager packet of Chris, man, you just won." You get me, fam? They have those conversations. They have that relation. When we used to roll on the roads, the white boy used to always hold the packs. You know why? Because the white boy gets the weakest pack. So what I'm saying is they have a relation. The only difference with Gambia is they don't have that.
Cavity search.
The only difference in Gambia, with Gambia is that they treat the people like that. They treat the people good, but they also treat foreigners the same.
Okay.
You understand? They even treat the foreigners like guests. Whereas here, they treat the foreigners. They treat us like the scum of the earth.
So what I'm getting from Hamza's visits to Saudi Arabia and your visits to Gambia is that one, in Saudi Arabia, religion or inherent morality that has been taken from religion is what is keeping the peace in the area. So it's not necessarily the police.
Yeah, because Gambia's got one of the lowest crime rates in the world.
So I'll ask you again, do we need police here?
Here we do, because we live in a very secular kind of environment. It's not that, you know.
But are you listening to him? Listen to what my man's saying though. My man's got a good point.
We live in a conflict. We have, it's a, melting pot point, yeah. As in me and you may differ, and then what happens when we get really passionate and then physical? You're gonna win off this. You're gonna win.
What happens when we get vexed? That's what
No. You know what's gonna happen? You know what's gonna happen if he gets vexed with him and starts fighting him? Man's gonna say no, stop that, and someone's gonna take him.
Exactly.
So
and if I was wrong, you lot let me know I'm wrong, right?
Because the thing about police is, when you're saying that they serve us, how many times have they helped you?
I agree.
How many times?
How many times have they helped you?
How many times have they helped you?
Maybe three times or something.
Okay.
Don't try it. If your brethren gets shot, who are you gonna phone?
He's got a wire.
I love if you saw one.
No, on the real, if your brethren got shot or something, God forbid something happened.
Stick with that point,
Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters.
Man call the police. Man call the man them. Man call the man them. Man call gangs like yo.
Community police.
Listen. If my brethren gets shot, I'm gonna call the ambulance.
I know what you did there.
When I call 999, oh, can you tell me? I'm all offended when she's asking me who I want to speak to. You know, it's either fire brigade or ambulance. I don't want to speak to no one else.
They're gonna arrest you. You're gonna say you did it.
That's me. I never think our police.
Stop. It's gonna take a long time for other people to clock what you just said.
That's how it is. That's how it is.
Marinate on that.
So do you feel that it's only going to be religion that can help us be a moral kind of society or whatever? That means we don't need policing,
and that we'd have to be all the same religion as well.
Yeah.
That's utopia. We're talking about hypotheticals.
Is that what utopia is? A world where you don't, where it's not utopia. I'm not saying bad things don't happen. In Saudi Arabia and Gambia, people kill each other, 100%. Stab, they rob, they steal. All of it happens. Maybe in a lower degree from what we are aware of here. Yeah, I don't know the statistics. You may be surprised by statistics. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure the Saudi jails are not empty.
No.
There's always someone to arrest and always someone to break your laws, but really and truly, why can we not just police ourselves?
Exactly, that's what I was saying the whole time.
Why can we not just police ourselves?
Community policing is much better, always.
Religion will get in the way of us policing ourselves.
And the police, if we do have police, the police have to be in. The police have to be hired by the people.
Because when we go back to laws, we often go to what do they call common law and God's law, law of the land. So God's law is depending on what God you're talking about, right? For some, you know, if we live in a community, bruv, if I live in a community with you, I know you're gonna want certain rules, certain laws that I'm gonna be like.
But we can have our own community, and you can have your own community as well. It's not about.
So in these
we can everyone.
It's back to segregation.
This is what happened in the first place. That's why we have countries now.
What's wrong with that?
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it.
You can have a community and you can have your own laws.
So but within that small community, then you're going to have more separation. Again, that's why we are where we are now.
I think we'll keep the peace. If you have your own community, right, who agrees with you, and you have your own laws, and I have my own community.
Listen, let me play.
People like me.
Well, we're figuring
You can migrate.
Let me play advocate, Let me play advocate. You have your community. I would never. I refuse. Let me play advocate. I hate that term, man. But
I never be a devil's advocate.
What's another word for devil's advocate?
I say godly advocate.
Shaitan's advocate.
Raw. Let me be Ra's advocate. Hey, don't get scalped for that, G. Don't get scalped for that, fam.
Move back.
He called Jahazu Armin Ra, Jahazu Armin Ra, look that up.
No. But seriously, so if you got your community over there, this is the problem I see straight away. You live there, we live here, everything's cool. Over here we allow. There's an act.
Smoking weed.
No. There's an act. yeah, that most people will feel like there's an immoral side to it, yeah. So if one side is pro-gay, how do you feel as homosexuality? Okay, so do you think is it against gay? Is it
100%?
Okay. Is it against God's law?
No.
Yes. No. Yes. That's the answer.
It's against your God's law. It's not against God's law.
It's against God's law. It's against God's law. The Bible,
All of them. Lies. It's nature's law. If nature demanded them to be homosexual, they are homosexual. Nature's law.
But not the thought process.
No. You're not.
Nature is a man and woman thing.
Okay.
A saw and a set. A saw and a set, not a saw and set. Not a saw and
That's
set.
going to cause now a blockage between our communities interacting, because my community is engaging in something you deem to be undesirable according to your God's law.
Why is that going to affect you? Why is that going to affect you?
Because as much as you
my law is not going to be on your law.
no, but as much as you talk about segregation, there's a border, there's a barrier, and then there's people interact.
You're going to get a lot of homosexuals in your channel.
But this is what I'm saying. Are you guys interacting with people that don't keep the same laws as you? That's going to cause a conflict, right?
You know, the Islamic model is that it's a
Even now, I live by that law.
Within there, the Jews ruled by their books, the Christian ruled by their books. But the
In one society.
but the overall arching one was Islam. You get it?
Okay.
Controversial topic. No. It's good.
So
Even now, I live by that law.
the Jewish people can rule themselves according to Torah.
According to Torah, and the Christians rule themselves
according to the Bible. But if the Islamic people say that no, then they
this is the overarching one.
overrule.
I can't think of anything now where they would kind of negate any of the
Is
law.
that working in any society now?
No, not that I know.
It's a past thing, yeah.
Last I remember it was in Spain.
In Spain, where everyone was got
Islamic
to live
Spain,
under their own law.
pluralistic society.
I don't know. I don't even know.
A lot of black people there. A lot of black people.
I don't even know if that's a bad thing. I think that can work. Yeah, I think everyone can live by their own law.
Okay, how about it was in the golden age?
Is that possible?
Come on,
Is it messy?
Right now, we're gonna start a civilization now.
Yes.
Right? We're about to. There's nothing going in. We're gonna. What do we need? Let's list this. What do we need?
Land.
We need schools.
Resources.
Industries and institutions.
We need a myth.
Morality at the core. No, we need morality.
It gives us something to stand for.
What's that? What? The moral code.
We say we need a myth. We need to a moral code.
To define our character.
Okay, so moral code, land. We've got land already. Yeah? Education. Yeah. What else do we need? Healthcare. Trade. Right. Trade.
When we say moral code, yeah, can we define what you mean by that? Because
How we interact with fellow men.
how we
An agreed set of
interaction
principles.
rules.
Do unto others as you do unto you. I think is the
cool,
best. Is the
cool.
best. Is the
So
best
moral-
one.
But that's the golden rule. But is this moral code separate from religion?
There's some funny people like
But we're not there yet. We haven't got that. We
Yeah?
haven't got that. We haven't got that.
Okay, let me
Blank slate.
common.
It's a blank slate.
Moral code is a common thing. Okay, that we all decide. That we all agree with.
first, yes?
Yo, you lot.
First, man.
Oh, you lot. Has anyone played Sim City? You know that game where you build right. Why do we have automatically? Yeah, we have a fire service. We have this. Do we have to have police and armed police as well? Armed. What's armed? In my opinion, right? When you have a police force. Hold on.
From American. That's why.
Outside community, they're gonna shoot.
That's what I'm saying. If it's brothers that we sit down with and we eat lunch with, you understand, fam? Then there's no problem with them being on the road.
They got guns.
Well, obviously they don't need to
If
have
you got a gun, I want a gun.
I don't know.
That's my society.
It's very important. Hold on,
Police, you might be cool, bless. I want my thing. You know what I'm saying? I want to fight.
Bro. Do they have guns? Do they have guns? Who? The Gambian police.
Yeah, some of them got guns. Some of them got guns.
That's a big deal, you know, because if you've got armed pacification, that means there's enough of your population that don't agree with what you're supporting.
Armed pacification.
That's serious.
That's serious.
I know what it means.
The soldiers have got guns. I don't know if all the police have got guns. You get me? I think you might have.
Because that's, for me, there's a difference between a police force and ones that have guns to beat you up.
But you see the thing about Gambian police, is it's like, because they got one of the lowest crime rates in the world, I clocked. One of the reasons is when you drive like 10 minutes down the road, every minute you're coming to a soldier post and the man there got straps So you're always reminded. You don't really want to mess about.
That's also for outsiders as well.
Bro, we was in the car, and the little boy took a picture, and bruv, the little 7-year-old nearly got arrested. Do you get me, for taking a picture of the police officer?
In Gambia.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no spying. They didn't even
I know two people.
in the country.
I know 2 people that went to Gambia. They stayed at a hotel. The hotel manager gave them places to go see on a tourist level. They jumped on a motorbike. They were riding around. They took a couple pictures. They got stopped in the middle of town. They got taken in by Interpol, and it turned into a big, massive thing. So I know that happens in Gambia.
It's not a joke,
but then it's kind of like underneath all of that. Oh yeah, everything's cool and fine and dandy. There's a heavy police state there,
100%.
hiding just underneath the. You know what I mean? So it's still what you said. Armed pacification.
Well, let's come back here now.
Hey,
right?
let's
come back here. We're here.
We're in the circle. We're in the circle.
We're back here. We're back.
No, as in we're here in London.
Let me cut out. I just want to thank you, all of you, man.
I'm still running.
You love it. Take care.
For the record, Times TV says Ham's still running.
I'm running.
Don't run. How are you saying? No.
Are you the last man standing?
Next year.
Next year.
No, seriously.
You're gone.
Come man. No, come man. We have to send you off properly, man. Love, man.
Next year, where's he going? But you're
going back to Saudi, man. Come on, man. Sheesh. Hey, you make you want to cry right now, you know. You've been a great.
It's a big video still, Carl. We got to finish it on a nice note. We had the homosexual debate earlier. You got a bit fiery. You got a bit fiery in the dunya. You know what I'm saying? But you have to realise, Hamza, man, deal with, because they say my name's respect and I gotta respect people. But I don't deal with respect. It's respect. You understand? So I can't take no risk when I'm respecting people. You get me? I can't risk by dissing the Most High. You understand? So you know they call the Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah. They call me Rastafari. So that's
So what, is he trying to liken himself to the Prophet?
Next year, guys.
You know that's silly. Alright, let's go back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. That was going somewhere. I like the ideas and that. So let's bring it back. What did you get? Religion? No. Moral code.
Moral code. A new society. How do we build it? What would it have?
What did you put in? Moral code.
We should just get out Plato's Republic, you know.
I got that book. I've never read it.
So this is Plato's ideas on how to form up. No.
He was a Negro.
That's ridiculous. You're saying Plato was black.
Huh?
You're saying Plato was black.
Thank you.
Bring the evidence. Bring the evidence Plato was black.
Alright.
You want him to be white?
He was blue.
No, he was Somalian, you know. He was Somalian. Somalian, brother.
From another perspective, it literally doesn't matter what colour Plato was.
Exactly.
For my reality, it don't matter who Plato don't matter. In my reality.
What colour was Dul Qanan? What colour was Dul Qanan? He was black. Do you know, who is he? Who was he? According to Islam. Exactly. And where is Alexander the Great from? Where was Alexander the Great from? Yeah. Where was he from? What country is he from? See? Whoa there. But you know what? Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah. On a level, on a geographical level, it's more likely because of the size of the land masses where the melanated people are dense at. It's more likely that a lot of the public figures that you have do have blackness in them. It is especially if you know how they write history and how they fuck shit up. It's not that hard to believe that. It's not that funny. It's not that funny. It's not that hard to believe that. Yeah? Huh? Who is St. Nicholas?
Father Christmas.
Who say? I thought that was Odin. I thought St. Nicholas was Odin. Yeah, I thought that's Odin. Odin rides on the sleigh with reindeers.
You're gonna go and pray with them, not innit?
On the 25th of December. Make it wood.
He's taking piss. He's taking a piss.
I'm about to eat, bro.
They had black people.
Teach them Rastafari real quickly. That's the godliness.
There you go.
What do you know about Viking history?
Who took?
That's what he's seen from four.
Come on, man. One thing I will tell you, yeah. One thing I'll tell you. The reason why I'm not on this Pan-African thing, yeah. I'll tell you. I'll give you one good reason, yeah. It's because I know that melanated people existed everywhere, and until today, you can't go a corner of the earth where their presence hasn't been made. So as far as I'm concerned, Africa, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
Even Norway.
Especially Norway. Especially Norway. Especially Europe. Especially Europe. You don't know about Europe already. Yeah. So, especially they were everywhere. There was
the samurai are black.
I don't know. It's funny to them. You know why it is? Because that's them battling with what the media has shown them, and they're like, it's funny. But then when you sit down and think about it, that's the same media. Listen, brother. The same media that makes you laugh at the fact that samurais might be black or rare, and the same people that said, yeah, we killed Osama bin Laden, we dumped his body in the ocean. Everyone, there's nothing to see here. You understand? You see the way that they can trick your perception if you believe what they give you. They taught you certain things. They taught you about Vikings and blah 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 for a reason. So you have a certain mindset on the way that the world stage runs, and it's just not true. You get me?
What's your breakdown for melanated people being on different land masses? Like, how did that happen?
Oh well, do you know what? I don't like the term the name used, because it starts with the prefix of pan, but Pangea, or the notion of continents being linked earlier and
one landmass.
Free. I don't even know about one landmass, but more easily accessible than what we have now, or what the current status quo is on what the map looks like, and blah blah blah.
So does that add more people to the African family then? If that's the case?
It adds. They don't add more people to the African family.
Them people are classed as part of the Pan-African agenda.
Who?
The black people that are all over the world, they're still Africans. So
my thing is this, yeah. My thing is this. If the continent,
the black lands,
if the continents were all one at one point, why are you telling me about Africa?
Because it's about the existence of African people in other parts of the world. It's not an ideal situation.
You lot are calling them African people.
Okay, black people.
But they're people. You lot are calling them black people. They're just people.
In fact,
they won't all tell you that.
A lot of them
they won't all tell you that. And a lot of people have been encouraged. Sorry?
Yeah, we know that. We know.
Yeah.
So you got different,
No, I hear that. But the point I'm trying to say is, if we predate all that notion of when Africa, blah blah, if we go back to when Africa was linked to South America, and South America was linked to Europe, and Europe was linked to Asia, and it was one landmass, yeah. If we have evidence to support that, that's how people. That's what people were born onto. That's what we were created onto. A land.
You know what that's doing, bro? So it's ignoring the historical context of what our people have been through.
I'm not. No. But what I'm saying is,
when you say Africans, like all Africans go through the same thing, it's not that.
No, what I'm saying is, all Africans get treated, and dark-skinned Indians get treated the same way because they're dark-skinned.
I know, man.
It's the same thing.
So we choose a point in history to stay in. Yeah.
Eastern African, so a lot of these issues, is with what the West African
is.
So he's not relating.
Yeah, but the conversation is about consolidating Africa as it is, as well as providing.
You don't share the struggle.
No, we know. We understand.
Move to Polynesia.
But what we can understand is the whole of Africa is struggling.
I'm gonna move to the Andaman Islands. Yeah, I'm gonna move beyond the ice shelf to where other people.
All of us, we are African diaspora. You know what I mean? We all suffer from African diaspora. So this is man from East Africa, but we all I'm here in Europe.
It reminds me of the youngers, the youngers and the ends that just talk about their block the whole time. And I asked them, I got youngers from Brixton. Do you know about that place? Do you know that place in Newcross? Where he said, nah, I don't go there. Alright, cool. So you're just okay, cool. Alright, boom. I tell him, you know what? I went to where can I say? West Brompton. where, I don't know, Wales, Cardiff. I went to Cardiff the other day. Yeah? He's got no knowledge of Cardiff. Yeah?
Right.
What I'm trying to say is, it's all England. You understand? It's one landmass. So if we think about it, if we're talking about Africa, Africa's a stone's throw in comparison to the rest of the world. Why do we focus on one place when we have populated everywhere?
Because it's about economics as much as anything, bro.
See, when we get back to economics, I keep telling man, fuck, I'm not trying to be Alan Sugar.
Let me tell him why. Shall I tell him why? Shall I tell him why? Shall I tell him why? Shall I tell him why?
No, I agree.
No, let me tell him why.
Separate economics from finance.
When they took us away from Africa and they took us to America and they took us to the Caribbean, they told us that the Africans sold us out. On top of that, they told us the Africans were some savages. Yeah, and they told us not to affiliate with our African brothers.
What if they didn't take you from? What if they didn't take you from Africa?
If they didn't take us from Africa, then there may not be, depending on how the world powers be. Yeah, there may not be as much of a need for a Pan-African ideology.
What if?
But what if
they just told you that they did? Listen,
what I'm saying is
there's evidence. There's evidence, yeah, but there's evidence to suggest
language is under.
And what I'm trying to say is
there's evidence to suggest one that our cultures were linked. Yeah, there's evidence to suggest that one, slavery took place. But there's not enough evidence to say that hundreds of millions of people have been shifted all around the fucking world. There's people in the Siddhi tribe in India, and it's like, oh, we don't know how these super black motherfuckers got here that are banging drums and connect to Africa, but they may have come off some Arab slave ships. What if they always lived there?
Yeah, they did.
You understand what I'm saying? But we're using. But listen, it doesn't do us any favors to buy into the agenda that everywhere we are in the world we got there from slavery.
We're not saying that. No one said that. Nobody said that.
No one said that.
The Caribbeans, I believe there's more than 50% of Caribbeans whose genetics actually originated from that island.
Yeah, but how do they know that? How did Caribbean people come back and link up with African people? When was the first time that happened? Pan-Africanism. It was the first time that happened. It was the first time when you had Caribbean people. Rastafari was the first movement, the first Caribbean people to say that Africa, to make Africa cool. Even when Africans were afraid to be African in the UK.
I don't believe that.
No. What I'm saying is,
I do not believe that. I got the name of the guy that started the Rastafarian movement. Yeah?
Leonard P. Howe.
Let me just check this name.
Man told him the name.
Leonard P. Howe.
Let me just check this name.
Leonard P. Howe.
Yeah, but my point being is, we don't believe in beliefs, and I have to stand corrected on that. I would say to you that
you know why
this does not ring true to me. That all Rastafarians, not all Rastafarians, that the Rastafarian movement were the first people
from the Caribbean,
from the whole of the Caribbean islands,
the first movement to call out to Africa. Come on, man. Who's the first group?
Because they
preserve Africans.
You preserve the African culture.
That's Marcus Garvey.
You preserve the African culture. 100%. You don't go to Ethiopia, Zimbabwe.
I think there's been many connections established.
No, I'm not saying
that's the most popularized one, right? That is the most popularized theory,
Let's just say
Ethiopia.
Except for Pan-Africanism, because Marcus Garvey, you see the thing about Marcus Garvey, is when we're talking about Marcus Garvey, you see me, I don't know everything. You get me? And I've got to respect a man for the works you do. You see when my brother sets up a clothing line and he's selling his thing and he's doing well, I respect him. You see Marcus Garvey, he had an army of 100,000 black people. This is just coming out of slavery. This is a black man that was right at the bottom, and now you got an army of 100,000 black people. You understand? Thousands of black people being employed, and that's why whatever ideology that man there was dealing with, man wanna keep that alive. You understand? Because most of us here don't even know, because they've hidden this history. They tell you about Martin Luther King and his dream, but they don't tell you about the nightmare that he was living in, and the fact that even though he had the dream, they still killed him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that people that's why for me, they've done a lot, man. And it's not just them ancestors, it's the African ancestors like Madam Pmpbuh who fought for us in Nigeria. She used to sell slaves, and when she realized what the Europeans were doing and realized it wasn't served them, Madam Pmpbuh in Nigeria fought against the slave masters. So all of these people are,
to a certain extent, it's a bit romantic, bro.
Yeah. I hear you.
As a person, yeah, who can trace my lineage, but I was sold on a slave ship, so I can go back to Ghana and check out my lineage. Like my tribe, not that I'm proud of it. Be the people that run the harbours and that. So they used to sell their own people. Africa is not one homogeneous group. We are a tribal continent.
100%.
So this idea of unity, like it's going to be all blessed when man come back to the motherland.
No. It's got nothing to do with that, brother. You see what it is, It's say if, like, when I say Africa unite, say if you want to throw the ball over the wall, and the wall's high, or say if you want to punch through a wall, like punch a wall and break it, you got to envision going through the wall. If you want to get the ball over the wall, you got to get. So that's why when we're saying Africans unite, we know it's romantic, we know it's idealistic, but we know we'll get the closest to there. We might not reach the nucleus,
so
but it's not. We know we're in the real world, but I understand what you're saying still.
You got Gaddafi, who was trying to, what was it? He had the water, the underground thing. Right? So it's not just Caribbean men who are upset. People in Africa who are trying to promote that as well.
Look at what happened to a man. These people them turned on him, didn't they?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you don't stop trying to do it.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying the means has to be practical, and you have to document. You have to keep people on a code, bro. Like the way it is, we have different tribes, we have different creeds, we have different languages. People, by their very nature, are very partisan. I'm gonna help my brother before I help you out. Like, or I'm gonna help my brother whilst my brother's in the wrong, whilst you might be the person being oppressed.
That's where it's wrong.
So I'm saying all of those things need to be rooted out of us as well. Not to mention, a lot of the trauma that we've been through, bruv. A man will be quick to snake his brother to gain a massive wealth or whatever, chill, be cool, and then see the rest of his people in plight and not business.
But I think,
how are we going to filter the nation of those sort of people?
I'm not saying that they're not wicked out there, and obviously Rastafari says death to the white oppressors and their black counterparts. You understand? Leonard P. Howell. Leonard.
It's about preserving your culture as well, isn't it?
Joseph Hibbert.
Preserving your culture. Like, see the Rastas.
It must have come after Leonard P. Howell. Leonard P. Howell is the one who brought it back from Marcus Garvey.
Joseph Hibbert.
But they're very connected to the continent.
No doubt,
They're more very connected to the continent. That's
we went and fought for Africa.
Exactly.
Because of that ideology.
And in fact,
man like this jumped on a plane and went and fought for Ethiopia.
A lot of people as well. I remember as well. Like one of the South apartheid. What happened? So they was listening to that song. You know what I mean? That reggae song, Mabani. When he was fighting for the apartheid.
Come on.
Buffalo soldiers. You know what I mean?
All that.
So hear this. This is my question.
It was. You know what I mean? Like they're more connected.
It done mad things for the people, like spiritually.
So is man more spiritually connected to Ethiopia or to the whole of the
Africa continent? The only thing is, it's like everyone's gonna have, like for example, Gambia, that's where I've been, But the thing is, I've been all over the world, so I can tell you, all over the world. Like, okay, I went to Egypt and I faced racism. I went to Greece and expected racism and didn't really get no racism when I went to Rhodes. So I've been all over the world.
I've been there.
Rhodes.
Best places.
Oh, come on, did you get any racism? Like, I didn't feel nothing, fam, and I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. Rhodes in Greece, I'm looking for racism. You know, when I've got to Greece, I'm saying, these men must be racist in Greece. You get me? I'm saying, you know what they done with Egypt, and these men but this is Rhodes. I don't know. But bro, when I'm walking there, blood, I'm telling you, not one white person gave me any sort of look. Everything was just cool, bro. You know, like here they'll smile, but you can still feel through the handshake that they're gonna stab you in the back.
When did you go? Do you know what?
6 months ago.
You know what? I've been there 3 times. I got married there last year. I don't class them as white. I don't class them as the white that we interact with.
That we know here.
Do you know what I mean?
They're different.
Funny.
They're different. Because I went to Egypt. And I thought, these men are gonna rape man.
From my own experience, one of the best places.
Imagine, I went to Egypt and I thought these men are gonna be cool with man. Like Greece was cool. These Egyptian men are probably gonna Bro, when I got there, blood, it was the worst racism I've ever seen in my life, blood. You get me?
Bro, listen, man, I ain't even been to Egypt. My interaction with Egyptians here, bro,
yeah,
made me want to go
it's
to
mad. You know what I'm saying?
Not racism. I did personally.
They got man hard. They got man. They tried to even rob man. You get me? And I had to box you. You get me? No, no talk. But they tried to rob. They asked man for a cigarette. I'm giving you cigarettes, and then he tried to take my box. So I grabbed my box and he put his hand in my pocket. So obviously, you get me? You get me, fam?
Some of them are Berber as well.
But yeah, so Egypt was mad. I don't ever want to go back there again. That's the thing. I love Kemet, I love Kemet, but I don't want to go back there because I don't want to create a body and be in no Egyptian cell. You know what I'm saying? That's how these man was going hard with me. I don't know. Yeah, that's why I wanted to go. I was going to go south of Egypt. But Gambia, when I went to Gambia, I was at home. Bro, for the first time in my life, I was treated like I was at home. I can't explain it with words. But Gambia was the first time where I actually experienced what it's like to be treated at home, fam. My whole life, I've lived in this country, even Jamaica to a certain degree, yeah? But Jamaica, that's where I'm from. But Jamaica, it's home. It's home, but not like Gambia. You see, Gambia, it's like they're waiting for man to come back, brother. We're praying for you.
I love Jamaica. Jamaica's
You know what's this thing for me though, yeah?
I know a brother from
Even though I'm African, bro, and I hate the fact that I'm here, I do feel like I've got an attachment. Like I feel like,
of course you have an attachment.
My heart would still be like, yo, I have to go back to London.
Yeah, but
even though I don't necessarily like the people,
of course you're gonna have an attachment. That's natural, right? You're gonna have an attachment.